So we did not find, you know,
So
who that
it wasn't
was.
somebody from fire and rescue?
It wasn't someone from our department. Apparently it ran someone off the road in Wolfboro, and it was headed northbound.
Is Wolfboro on the Carroll County Dispatch now, or are they doing their own?
No, they've always done their own dispatching.
So that-
Yeah,
that'll
it's
be the place-
Moltenboro, right?
Yeah, that'd be the place to look,
So,
dispatch reports.
but I followed that up with the sergeant, and I followed up with the Moltenboro chief. Their call wasn't to the point, it was a service call for a flooded basement or something along that line, so they shouldn't have been running lights and stuff, and they didn't have anyone that met their description. So that's out there. If anyone comes back to the town and says, hey, this vehicle was headed northbound, it was your personnel, it wasn't any of our people that we could find. So.
Well, you have a good week.
Thanks, chief.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you for your efforts. Next is Brenda Gagnon from Tri-County Transit.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Woods.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Chip Albee. Bill Martin.
Bill.
Have a
How are
seat.
you? And thank you for letting me come this time.
Take a
It's the
seat.
last one.
Take a seat and take a deep breath.
I'm calm.
And just give your name and the reason why you're here to Karen.
Sure, my name is Brenda Gagne. I'm the director of Tri-County Transit. That includes the Blue Loom bus service. We're here because we're asking for funding support from the town of Tufton Borough to help support our transportation services for elderly, disabled, and general public.
I think we already have $3,000 on the health agency's line for Blue Moon. Is it different from that?
No, it's the same thing. Blue Loon is the system service we provide in Carroll County. We have names for our different services. There is going to be a change to the service that we're providing. We were operating a flex route service that went from West Ossipee all the way down to Wolfboro. We're suspending the service because it's simply not feasible to do it. It's not cost effective, and honestly, it's not providing the service that we're being asked for. So we're going to take that off the road and start operating 5 days a week with our smaller bus fleet, providing door-to-door service, which will take people to not just medical appointments, but grocery shopping, dental, hair appointments. And that's going to stage a bus in the Tufton Borough-Wolfboro area. The cost to operate that is much more efficient and effective. It seems to be more applicable to what we're being asked. The flex route, although a really good idea at the time, just hasn't panned out. So we want to take our resources and point it in the direction of where it's mostly needed.
Would you be available to speak to the budget committee?
Absolutely.
And just leave a card here.
Sure.
I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I remember the report that we were given. And the concern I have, which I'm sure you can explain away, but is that we're paying close to 10 times as much per ride as Conway. So if we look at the amount of money that Conway gives you for 690 rides versus ours at 64 rides, I mean, they're giving, I think, $6,000?
No, the town of Conway gives us three.
3,000.
3,000.
Okay, so we're giving you 3, they're giving you 3.
Yes.
They're getting 10 times as much service as we're getting.
They are. And I realize that's the way it seems. We're suspending the flex route up there as well. The only thing they're going to have operating for them is door to door, just like what we're proposing to do down here, 5 days a week. They have been a little bit busier than this area. I have a mobility manager who's going to be coming down into this area and do some training. I don't think a lot of people understand that if they have Medicaid, we provide Medicaid transportation, veteran transportation, disabled, general public, and I think there's a misconception that we're only for seniors, which we're not. We're general public and all that includes. Our goal is to increase ridership, but also the understanding of what the service actually does. Unfortunately, it's been considered a senior bus for a long time, so my goal as the new director is to kind of change the outlook of what our service actually is. Alongside of that, we're also doing our long-distance medical. Passengers or residents of Tufton Borough needing to get to Rochester or Dartmouth. Our volunteer staff is growing, and we're going to be, I don't want to say advertising, but explaining exactly how all our services work to a lot more people. So there is that understanding, and hopefully that will increase the ridership, and you will see the same value for what you're giving that Conway has given in the past.
Well, let's hope.
Well, I'm a firm believer, if they don't know about it, how are they gonna, yeah. So the part of the mobility manager's job is actually to do on-site trainings and to do ride-alongs with first-time passengers. So you will be seeing her and the buses down in this area doing trainings.
One of the things that I've heard is that almost all of the rides from Tufton Borough are out of one neighborhood, and that there are other needs out there that, or there may be other needs that aren't being met, which kind of goes to the how do you engage people that that could benefit from this service beyond the, in this particular neighborhood, I think there's a lot of word of mouth, okay? Guy next door says, hey, this is how I get around, and it works from there. And it's a high density neighborhood.
Right.
But we have, the other side of the coin is the distributed population that we have all through the community that could benefit from the transportation. And as we continue to age, there'll be more of us. And so how do we engage those people, get the word out to them? And it isn't just an issue for you, it's an issue for us as a community as well as it relates to life safety and well-being. Do you have a specific strategy in place to?
We do. And that is something that's been worked on and now finalized, is we're putting and contacting local libraries, town offices, local medical centers. We have found one of the great things working with local medical centers is we train their staff on how to talk to their patients to say, well, listen, we know the bus can come and get you. We have medical facilities now that actually call and schedule the rides for their patients. So the trainings that I'm talking about are going to be widespread. It's not just to the community, although that is our most important goal, but it's going to be also to the other agencies and services that serve the community and these people, in case they missed it at a library or something like that. I have been asking local selectmen if you have a list of places for us to hold trainings, to come in and talk to people, tell them this is what it is. We will bring the mobility manager down, we're gonna bring a bus down, we're gonna have the local driver with us so that people will have the opportunity to meet the driver, see the bus, talk with him. If they wanna go for a ride, we'll take you for a ride. Most passengers are a little, well, nervous about going out on their own. So we tell them invite a friend or a couple of friends, whatever makes you comfortable, and take your first trip with us on us. And go and see what it's like. We'll teach you how to schedule, how it works, where we're gonna pick you up and get you returned, because a lot of people are very nervous about being left. I myself have traveled before, and that's usually my biggest concern, is that car coming back to get me so I can get back to where I need to be. That's all part of these trainings. We have a PowerPoint set up, we have brand new brochures. They explain how all the schedules work, in this case, how to call, and it's all toll-free numbers. But I'm always asking people, if you know a place where we should go to hold a training or for people for us to talk to, let me know and we'll schedule something with them. I don't know all the areas in Carroll County, I'm learning them as I go. Wolfboro fairly well, but Tuftonboro is not one I'm I got lost 3 times trying to get here. But if you have any ideas, let us know and we'll send someone down to do a training for them. But yeah, word of mouth is wonderful, it really is, but to have it on-site training is even better. At least I think so anyway. And if the people can't get to the training, we'll come get them and bring them to the trainings, just to help them understand how easy it is to use. And it is their transportation. I mean, that's what it's for.
Tuftonboro Times might be a good place to put some information on this.
Tuftonboro Times?
Tuftonboro Times, you can check with the office, I think
Okay.
Dan is the editor now.
Oh, okay.
And they do everything via interweb.
Oh, nice, okay.
You can send a
I do.
press blog out.
Yeah,
Actually pay the local newspaper to have something put in there.
yeah, definitely. You're looking at someone behind me. Hi, are you with the newspaper?
This is from Granite State.
Granite State, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'd like to see that number change a little bit if we can this year.
I would love to see it
Need
change.
it to have, I mean, personally, I don't mind spending money on public transportation provided people use it and provided
Mhm.
it makes
Yeah.
economic sense.
Yeah.
So,
And that is part of the reason we changed from the flex routes back to door. People weren't getting on, and I don't see a reason to continue it and hope, because it's not what's wanted. People would rather it be like a taxi service, come and pick me up at my door. I don't want to have to walk to a bus stop. That's perfectly fine. I like that type of service better. It's more personal, and it seems to put passengers' minds at ease when they look out the window and see the bus there. Then they're sure they're getting a ride.
Well, thank you very much. Any more
Thanks.
questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Travel safe. You have a poke.
I do, I've got about 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm
Travel
hoping that-
safe, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, it's just starting to snow out there. So. Sounds
better
like
to
that's
snow
moving
than
on.
ice.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Next
Thank you,
is
brother.
Highway Department. Come on down.
We're doing the police.
How's this?
Yeah.
How's the winter from hell?
Yeah, right.
What?
I missed the police.
Son, Billy's sitting there.
No, I don't mind moving, whatever. There's crime in the street, I don't want you to be here all day.
What is your pleasure?
It's fine.
That's fine. Okay. You're up.
Morning. So since beginning of January, we've actually been called out 7 days for plowing or treating the roads, and some of which was just from the wind. We had a few days of really windy conditions after it snowed. We've had to restock, we had to restock our winter sand pile. So we've had 11 days of hauling with the town truck. And we've also had to wing back the snow banks and clean off bridges, cut open waterways and drainage. And basically that's it for the last 18 days, or 22 days, sorry.
Anything else for us?
I was going to wait for you to ask questions.
I have a couple questions, but and one of them has to do with Lang Pond Road.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with you. Several people have expressed their appreciation for the work that was done on Lang Pond Road. The project came in under budget. The paved sections allowed for flooding and worked as designed. Their tree came down that could have torn up the pavement. Your guys got right there and cut it out, saving the environment, saving the road. Thank you. There were some positive suggestions. Could the snow plow operators use their angle plow and push the snow away from the lake side of the road? This prevents drifting, it prevents stones and gravel from being pushed toward the lake, and it allows for less damage to the bushes and shrubs. Last year it worked very well. When I spoke to you, you shared with me an observation. Go ahead.
Oh,
There's been someone,
somebody's been plowing the road for us at times. They're going all the way through the whole road.
I noticed there's been,
Yeah.
There's a lot of out-of-work older people in this town.
With plows.
I took
So,
my plow off because I do that sort of thing. Just-
yeah, so that's not necessarily us.
this is what I would suggest. Could you get with the police department? I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble. But every time, and you've explained this, every time your guy used to plow the bushes, they break, and, it takes 7 years for them to grow back in. And we're trying to get that back reclaimed after the construction. Your guys last year did a great job.
It's Lang Pond we're talking about?
Lang
Right,
Pond Road,
right.
yes.
By the lake there.
There's also a ditch there that drives the, that's filled with gravel, that's a trench and whatnot. I'm sure the snowplow operator of the public means well, but could you work with the chief and maybe educate the gentleman? We have a lot of roads, he can plow for us.
Yeah. We'd like to
And
know who
not
it is.
trying to get anyone in the trouble, not trying to embarrass anyone. I'm sure the motives are appropriate, so.
Okay.
So, speaking of plowing, do we have a policy in place, which we should have, but I don't know if we do
We have a
have?
winter policy, yes.
Oh, I haven't finished.
Oh.
That it's only town employees that are in the plow truck. Because our liability issues.
I'm not even a town employee.
right.
All right,
They're,
it's a
they're,
town
they're-
truck, so we're gonna pay for someone to be in it. I mean, we need to have some kind of policies.
and we do have a policy, as I remember, that covers that. And I can't,
Yeah.
I remember reading that, but, yeah, they're Jim's employees.
Okay.
Uh,
I had a report of one of your employees taking their child for riding a plow truck while it was snowing and they were plowing, and I think that's something we need to tighten up a little bit here. 'Cause
I don't believe that would be in a town truck. I think that would be in one of my trucks that I.
Okay, maybe it was, and that's your issues, not my issues as a selectman. But it was reported to me that it was the town big truck that was plowing. So just look into it if you will.
Okay.
And
Yep, I'm
I
not
just
aware
don't
of
wanna-
that, but.
find ourselves having a child go through a windshield and wonder why the child was there in the first place.
Yep.
That's all I have for that. And the other issue that we've got in front of us is the paving warrant article. And do you think we should ask the road agent to review that and be a little more specific? And there's some movement afoot with the budget committee to increase the paving budget. But there's a certain population of the budget committee that's not willing to just increase the budget with no specificity to what's gonna happen.
Okay.
So I guess from my understanding from the budget meeting, there's enough interest in increasing that if it's gonna do something significant or specific.
I'm prepared to talk about that today, but I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
We can, and I don't have a problem with that. I just would like to have Jim weigh in on it at some point in time.
Yes.
Would you like me to start with what we have for a thought for next year?
Sure.
Keep in mind that when we make these plans in the fall, it's always subject to change with the conditions of the roads. It's not always going to be exactly the same. So I hate to say we're definitely doing this, and then one road just falls apart completely over the winter, and now that becomes top priority, and that can't happen. So I'd like to say this is what we're proposing, but it's possible to change. And again, we can review that as together in the springtime and make the decision that we're all still in the same agreement. But what I had in mind was actually finishing the reclaim, the last 2,280 feet of Durgan Road, put the base coat down, and then we were gonna put the top coat across the whole Durgan Road. That being said, we're looking at $131,500 roughly. These are just budgetary numbers.
Right.
We're hoping that it's gonna be less, but we don't know exactly until we find out what the cost of material is in the springtime. The second project that we talked about was doing 3,400 feet of Brown Road. It's the last part of Brown Road before it goes into Wolfboro. There's a couple sections that we have some complicated conditions going on there, especially right at
The culverts.
the border, right at the town line itself. We get giant sinkholes every year and everything else, so it really needs to be dug out and find out what's in there and try to put back some good base. But also at the top of the hill, we have some pretty good whip-de-doos going on, which we've tried to dig in there already, doing some exploratory. We have dug up some rocks. To do that section, to reclaim 3,400 feet and pave it, we're looking at $84,000. So if we do the combination of the two combined, it's $215,000. That's just for paving. That's before I get there and do any
Road improvement stuff. yeah.
improvements where we want
215.
$215,000. And that's before we dig up to find out what's in there and what's causing the problems, which I feel like is probably the most important part before you actually put down paving.
So currently, we've got $20,000 left over after he's done these two projects. Because we have 235 in the proposed warrant article.
Right. But that includes the road improvement work that isn't even priced in here.
I have not given you a price for that.
Right.
Correct.
And can you do that all for 20 grand?
We should be able to.
I want to take a step back. One of the experts on the budget committee made the comment, former road agents have made the comment that it's a waste of time to wait a year putting the overlay on. Do you understand what he was saying? The comment
disagree,
was,
but-
the comment is that we do the paving, and then within 2 weeks, you use the 1-inch overlay. What is your understanding with the courses you've taken and your experience?
My understanding is if you let it settle out for a year, you'll have a better product. If it's gonna move the first year, we'll be able to correct it the second year when we put the top over coat on.
Well,
So
then,
the better
given that, I
products.
mean, we did part of Durgan. How much correction does there need to be there? I can't see under the ice, but maybe you've looked at it. better
Well,
than I
I'll be
have.
honest with you, we won't know that until spring,
All right.
when it does its moving.
Historically, what sort of numbers are we looking at? I mean, let's say you did Ledge Hill Road, I don't know how many years ago that was.
Since you've been road agent, it's do the reclaiming, culverts, your base coat, and then a year later,
Right.
put the 1-inch.
But the number I'm trying to establish is, okay, we've waited a year. Historically, how much have we had to reinvest in that initial paving in order to get ready for that finish coat? You follow me?
I'm not exactly positive I follow you, but as far as, once it settles out, they just pave over it. It's not like extra.
But there's been no,
I'm gonna go with my experience on the budget committee and my experience as a selectman, which is a couple of years. I'm not aware that he's come back to us and said, oh, this section of X road collapsed on us or needs remedial help. It was just, because in my opinion, editorial comment, the work was done right, reclaiming the road and doing what you did. You didn't have to go back after the base coat was put down and re-engineer, redesign.
Oh, no, yeah, no, it's
fix.
always worked out well. It's never been any, you'll see some dips or something like that, but it's never been anything
so are there any
substantial.
roads that we've got one coat on other than Durgan?
Not at the moment.
Or we've all got the top coat on everything?
Well, since that I've started, yes.
Maybe more, but.
Prior to him, it was done different.
Well,
I mean, Shirley Way, for example, never had the top coat put on.
Right, and what are we gonna do about, I mean, I don't wanna jump all over the place, but what are we gonna do about Shirley Way? Because that's not in this. That's something, you know, we have pictures.
Yeah, we had pictures, and the road edge is a little bit soft, and that's probably our biggest problem is when we're plowing in the beginning of the year or, in the, you know, before it freezes. The wind catches it and tears it up. It's a little bit thin, there's no question, it's a little bit thin and it's soft. It's not probably the best road structure, but.
But it's not on the schedule.
I guess I'll jump right in because I address it.
Okay.
Can I make a presentation?
Sure.
One to Karen,
This is a democracy.
press. We currently have $185,000 in a paving warrant article and $50,000 in road preparation. And they're combined because there's a nexus there. This was made up by, I thought this up prior to the comments about how you pave. I'm going to propose that we break the money down the following way. Durgan Road, remaining section, it needs to be reclaimed, and you see the figure for 11.2. We pave the remaining section, the base coat for $49,000. We do the culvert repair at Zididar Farms, and I put a question mark. You know, that culvert needs to be changed or extended or whatever. Remember the one where the cones have been out?
Yep.
And that this is the time to do it. And that we gravel and pack the shoulders, and that would be for a bill of $6,200.
65,000.
$65,000, and I'm using your figures
Um,
that you gave me.
I don't, for some reason I have 84,000 down for, oh no, I'm sorry, you're right, I have, that was for Brown.
A couple things. In my recent TAC meeting, the TAC reports that oil costs are down in this country, and they do not see an increase in paving costs, maybe 1%.
Well, I noticed the prices of fuel going up as we speak.
Yes, but it's the crude, it's the crude oil and whatnot. And I'm just parroting what I listened to over there.
Okay.
So I have that at $65,200 out of the warrant article. Federal Corner Road, first section. Nobody on Brown Road, nobody on North Line Road has come to see me. Several people have on Federal Corner Road. That's a major artery. I sit and watch the trucks that go up to the camps. It's thousands of cars. I'll defer to other people here, but I recommend the following: that we reclaim 2,500 feet for $12,500. We pave the 2,000 feet for $53,700. We repair at least 2 culverts. There's at least 4 of them that need to be extended, and I put down $5,000 for that. And we gravel pack the side of the roads for $22,000. That's $93,000 for that project there. That's $158,200 for these 2 projects next year that we tell town meeting that this is what we're gonna do. It leaves $26,800 to repair Shirley Way. As you go around that corner there, I helped pull a car up the second snowstorm. The pavement is destroyed.
On that one edge there.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw
And I'm
that.
not talking 10 feet here. Jim, this is not jumping you
Oh,
or
no.
cornering you, and we've had these talks here. You saved the town a lot of money, and you've been reelected 3 times, so, you know, I'm on your side. But,
Well, I
this
always
is
say-
where I'm coming from. So I'll take a step back. That's how I propose we spend the $235,000, and I haven't even thought about working, or us working with you, because I think the budget committee would like to see us invest a little more money in our roads. But thank you for listening to me, and I'll take a step back and be quiet for a moment.
Well, I'd like to say that I've always said, that I don't think it should be one person's decision on which roads get paved. It should be all of us.
So your position is not to put a finish coat on Durgan?
No.
Okay.
My position would be, after listening to the selectmen, after listening to the budget committee, that we support this guy and say, you know, we have no problem putting a finish coat, a 1-inch overlay for 6,650 feet. With your figures, I estimated $71,750.
So that's in addition to the.
That's right.
Okay.
But I don't want to confuse the issue here. Does that make sense to you? Thank you.
So on your, I just need to.
Yep, go ahead.
Clarify. Culvert repair on Durgan Road, you've got 2,000 or is it 22,000?
2,000.
2,000.
And I went a little high on that because I didn't know if there was one below there. This is the one where the cones were out on Zadida and the trucks were breaking it down, remember?
Well, that's, yeah,
And
that's
that-
where the UPS driver decided to pull over, but yeah.
Right. And it, you know, you said that was on your radar.
Yeah,
And Carroll, we've also got a number for North Line Road,
Yes,
so that doesn't have a finish coat.
yes. I went through and did the following. Durgan Road, Federal Corner Road, Brown Road, North Line Road, Shirley Way, Chandler Way, and Wood Lane, what overlays would cost.
okay, yeah.
You know, because if someone's up at town meeting and said, I'm thinking of adding $75,000 to overlay blank road, could you do it? No, it's 107 if you want Federal Corner Road. If you want Brown Road, it's 66,000.
But I thought I just.
I'm
heard-
confusing it.
I thought I just heard that we don't have any roads that don't have an overlay on them. Didn't I just hear that?
No.
The only road that has a base coat only now, I believe, is the section of Durgan Road you did this past year.
But that's since I've started.
Right.
I don't know exactly
So we've got
on the rest of them.
we've got a surface of 1 inch over Durgan for $71,000. Why do we have that number here on this paper? Who came up with the idea that it needed an inch? That's, I guess, my
No,
question.
the overlay is 1 inch.
It's a
Yeah.
finish coat.
It's the finish
So
coat.
there isn't a finish coat on that road?
No.
Okay. And there isn't a finish coat on North Line Road?
We haven't done those yet.
They haven't been paved in many years.
Okay, so that's a base coat.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's
the
just-
base coat's like a bigger, thicker
Yeah.
type of chunk
Yeah,
material.
that's-
inside
It's
of
also
the sheet of-
thicker, right?
Has more stone in it.
But it's also thicker in
Oh,
application.
2 inch, yes, correct. Yeah.
It's 2.5 inch.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a list there of paving needs, is that list?
Yes, I'm changing the needs. I'm saying Federal Corner Road needs to be done before Brown Road and North Line Road.
And the way that I had proposed the 10-year list is just a suggested course of action at that time.